is Zoe, and in this video I am going to be talking about how to dance to a Masmoudi rhythm. So the Masmoudi rhythm is one of the core rhythms in belly dance. You can find it in méjansés, in more classical taarab songs, drum solos. You can find it in a lot of places. So it's definitely an important rhythm to be able to recognize and dance to. So we're going to start by breaking down the rhythm, understanding how it works, and then looking at the kinds of movements and the way that we would dance to this rhythm. So let's jump right in. The Masmoudi rhythm is a rhythm in 8 beats, so it's quite a long rhythm. It goes for 8 counts. A lot of the other rhythms that we've looked at might be in 4 or even 2, but the Masmoudi is a bit longer, and there are actually 2 variations of it. So we're going to talk about both of them because they're quite similar. What I refer to as the 2-doom Masmoudi and the 3-doom Masmoudi. So let's start by looking at the 2-doom Masmoudi. And this one you can actually think about as just an extended melody rhythm. Yeah, so the melody rhythm, which there is a great video on about how that works, how to dance to that, if you remember, is in 4, and it would go like doom, doom, tech, doom, tech. Right, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's the melody, which actually you may hear referred to as Masmoudi, or a little more precise, Masmoudi Saghir, which means small Masmoudi. And then this Masmoudi we're talking about is the Masmoudi Kibir, which would be the big Masmoudi. And the reason for that is if you take that melody rhythm and you just double the time of everything, you would get the Masmoudi. So instead of doom, doom, tech, we have doom, doom, tech, doom, tech. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah? So again, the melody is doom, doom, tech, and the Masmoudi Kabir, at least the 2-doom version, is doom, doom, tech. So yeah, again, it's just the melody, but everything is twice as long. And to analyze this rhythm, of course, like the melody rhythm, it's very important that we have those 2 dooms right at the beginning. So instead of being on 1 and, now it's on 1, 2. Doom, doom, nothing on 3. You might have a tech on 4. Doom, doom, tech, doom, and then we have an important doom on 5. Doom, doom, tech, doom, 6, tech, 8. So we can have the techs on 4 and 7, dooms on 1, 2, and 5. But the techs actually in a Masmoudi, they're quite changeable, so they may not always be there. It's not as consistent as with the melody. Usually you do have those techs in the same places. So you might just have like doom, 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 da 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 da. So it's really mostly important to focus on the dooms. And as we've said, they're on 1, 2, and 5. Now, the 3-doom Masmoudi is very similar to the 2-doom Masmoudi, but as you can probably tell from the name, it has 3 dooms at the beginning instead of 2. So it's going to sound like doom, 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 doom. I mean, it might be, yeah, again, the texts are kind of variable there. The important thing is dooms. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Doom, 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 da da da, doom, da 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 da, for example. Yeah, so they're similar, but actually I find the feeling can be quite different because having those 3 dooms right at the front of the 3-doom Masmoudi, it gives, at least in my opinion, a very kind of forward motion feel, like you're kind of rolling or like going on waves, doom, 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 yeah? So it gives a feeling of forward motion to me that is not so present in the 2-doom Masmoudi, but but that's kind of just the way I see it, and you might see it differently. So, now that we've talked about how to recognize those rhythms and how to understand them, let's look at how we can dance to them. Now, for both of these variations, we can either choose to dance to them in place without a lot of movement, or because these are long rhythms with a lot of space, those often also work well for moving around. So we have two variations, which could be dancing to the rhythm in place, or variations dancing with a lot of movement. So we're going to look at those separately, because yeah, you would not dance to them in the same way. And how to decide whether to dance more in place or moving around. Of course, part of this is just personal feeling, and a lot of it, for me, depends on the music. So a great rule of thumb for this is that the more instruments are playing, the more movement you want to have, right? So if you have like a full orchestra playing, that's probably a good time to be moving around a lot. Whereas when you get down to a solo instrument taksim, or maybe a solo voice singing, that is probably a good time to stop moving around so much and dance more in place and translate that music. So let's start by looking at the variations where we dance in place. And this is going to be quite similar to how we would dance to just the shorter melody rhythm. So we want to have some kind of heavier movements to emphasize the dooms, and we want to do, at the beginning, in the two-doom Masmoudi, probably two of the same movement. Yeah, so we might do two hip drops, doom, doom, right? We might do two heel drops, doom, doom. We've still got that feeling of down, or two chest drops, doom, doom. Maybe pushing the stomach out, doom, doom. Or even hip twists, doom, doom. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but yeah, in general, it's a bit of a heavier movement, repeating twice. Yeah, two dooms. And then we also want to mark that fifth doom. So usually for the fifth doom, I will pick a different sort of a movement. So if I'm going to do maybe two hip bumps, doom, doom, 3 and 4, and then maybe I'll do a chest drop, doom, as just an example of something you could do. Doom, doom, tech, doom. And as you'll see, I use the inner parts of the rhythm, the parts without the doom, to transition between those two movements. So like if I did the hip drops, doom, doom, I might use that as tech to shift my weight, roll up, and then do a chest drop. And then maybe add some snake arms on the next transition. So something like all together, that's going to be doom, doom, raka, taka, doom, raka, tak, raka, doom, doom, raka, taka, doom, raka, tak. Yeah, so that's just an example. Something you can do. We'll look at some other ones in a second. But at least for me, when I'm trying to decide what to do, I like to mark the dooms first, 1, 2, and 5, and then your body might naturally figure out how to get from one to the other, and that's what you do on all those in-between beats on the 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Yeah? So let's look at a few combinations that we could do for the two-doom Masmoudi. Let's say we'll do 2 chest twists. So, doom, doom. And then from there, maybe I just feel like doing a camel rolling down my body. Doom, doom, tech. And then I roll down, I'm going to tuck my pelvis on the 5th doom. Doom. And then from there, another nice transition could be an ami or 2. Yeah? So again, you're letting your body kind of guide you into that rhythm. So we do doom, doom, tech, doom, and doom, 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 and Okay? Now, for the three doom Masmoudi, it's basically the same principles. Except, of course, instead of two dooms, you would do three. So, let's see, before we had talked about having some hip bumps. 1, 2, and doom, right? So let's do that, but let's do 3 hip bumps. So, doom, 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 da-da-da, doom. Yeah? So, let's do 1, 2, 3, roll up, chest drop, and then maybe roll down or shimmy. Again, it depends on the music. Maybe bring my arms out. Doom, 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 da-da-da, doom, and arms. Doom, 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 da-da-da, doom, and arms. Yeah, so that's one thing we could do to be 3 doom Masmoudi in place. Another one that we can do, that we'll practice these all in a bit. Let's say we want to do some hip twists. So I'm on the diagonal, I'll have my hips twist, 1, 2, 3, and then maybe I come into releve to prepare for that next doom, and drop, and then maybe just a nice hip circle with some shimmies. So, 1, 2, 3, and drop, and prepare, and 1, 2, 3, and drop, and prepare. So, as you can see, we use those in-between beats for transitions in our body. So we get the dooms, and then we figure we have some usually maybe more flowing movements, maybe more shimmy movements, depending on the music in between. So those are ways we can dance in place to Masmoudi. And feel free to experiment, try all sorts of things, just keeping in mind you want the dooms on 1, 2, and 5, or 1, 2, 3, and 5. Now let's talk about how to dance moving around to those rhythms. So, you don't want to spend the entire 8 beats moving around, because it's still a slow rhythm, and that could just feel like you're just kind of going all over the place. With a fast rhythm, it works to just be constantly moving, but with a slower rhythm that has these distinct dooms and not doom parts, I prefer to move on some parts and then be still on other parts. So usually I use the dooms to move, although you don't have to, but I would especially use those first 2 dooms to say just walk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, there I can use that heel drop as an example. And then because you're walking, you can walk anywhere you want. You can even do a turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And walk backwards, 2, 3, and maybe do a different 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So even just by walking and then changing which dooms you do, you can already easily dance many, many counts of Masmoudi. And of course, with 3 dooms, I would walk 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 5, for example. 1, 2, 3, and 5. Turn, 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 and 5. So yeah, you can pick any sort of movement pattern, walking, adding turns, whatever, and then yeah, have the dooms that you emphasize. So the 5, I usually like to have as a moment of stillness, right? Especially with the 3 doom Masmoudi, if you're walking 1, 2, 3, and 5, right? It really kind of emphasizes that. So we're going to try these out. I'll give you some combinations. Well, I already gave you combinations for being in place, and I'll give you also combinations for moving. So let's start with just the 2 doom Masmoudi. And for the moving version, we are going to do, we're just going to do a step, cross, and I like to make it really heavy with those dooms. Step, cross, and then I'm going to continue. I'm going to keep moving. Step, and turn, hit on the 5. So if we were counting, again, doom, doom, 3, 4, 5. And then maybe we'll do some arms, maybe we'll shimmy. Either one of those would work, and then we do the same thing going the other way. Doom, doom, 3, 4, 5. Step, cross, turn, and hit. Arms. Step, cross, turn, and hit. Shimmy. Okay, so let's dance to a to-do Masmoudi. To remind you, the combinations I showed, which you can follow along with, or you can invent your own. That's also fantastic. We did hitting the back hip to the back 2 times. Doom, doom, raka-taka, doom. And doom, doom, raka-taka, doom. Right, with the hip drop on the 5. Hit, hit, circle, and drop. Transition. Hit, hit, circle, and drop. Transition. So that was 1. The second combination that we had was the chest twist. 1, 2, roll down, pelvis, twist, twist, roll, and pelvis in, twist, twist, roll, and pelvis, and then we'll do 1 moving, the one we just looked at, step, cross, turn, and hit, arms, step, cross, turn, and hit, arms. Okay, so let's practice those, and then we'll come back and look at the 3 doom Masmoudi and do some combinations there. To that 2 doom Masmoudi. And now let's look at the 3 doom Masmoudi. So, as a reminder of the combinations we looked at earlier, we had one using hip bumps to the side. 1, 2, 3, roll up, chest, hit down. And then we can do arms, we could roll down, something like that. 1, 2, 3, and chest, roll down. 1, 2, 3, and chest, and arms. So that was the first combination. The second combination, we were on the diagonal, and we did a hip twist 3 times. 1, 2, 3, we come up onto releve, to drop down, and hip circle with a shimmy back to prepare for the other side. Twist, 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 up, down, and shimmy. Twist, 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 up, down, and shimmy. So those were the in place ones. Now, for the moving one, we haven't looked at this yet. Let's do a 3-step turn. So 1, 2, 3. I'll bring my leg in for the transition. And then let's just hit our stomach out. 5. And maybe count. Going the other way. 3-step turn. Stomach out. Count. 3-step turn. Stomach out. Camel. 3-step turn. I can even come down, out, camel, just to add a little flavor. Yeah, so let's try those 3 combinations with the Masmoudi rhythm. Again, you don't have to follow along. You can make up your own combinations. I definitely encourage you to do that. If not now, then later in your own practice time. That was the Masmoudi rhythm, both versions, 2 doom and 3 doom. And I hope that this video was helpful to you in learning how to better recognize and understand these rhythms, and of course, most importantly, how to dance to them. So if you did enjoy this video, I would very much appreciate it if you would give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and happy practicing.